Good morning. This is SEG, the discussion room. Today we have one of our strategic partners. His name is Kashif Gibbs. Just so you guys know, I am the CEO of the Soriano group, known as SEG. This discussion room, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Kashif, and why don't you go ahead and talk to our viewers about who you are and what it is you do and how it is you are related or working in collaboration with SEG.
Okay, hello, I'm Kashif with SEG, mainly IT services, web design, web development, and user experience development. I've worked on the website, so if you like the website, then you can thank me in part for that. Mainly working in terms of working with various IT services, making sure that the technical aspects of SEG is running fine, and doing the coding and the design in terms of our digital space.
I think it's a valid point to talk about the fact that his IT skills as a strategic partner, not only to SEG, to several other companies, have been a plus in reaching out to our given viewers, using this as a tool, an internal tool, an external tool to educate our viewers, our clients on different topics. IT seems to be the most in-demand thing these days for any company that likes to outreach to either communities within society or even globally. What can you tell us that can help us understand the importance of IT and the back office, the middle office, the front office of all these settings?
It's obvious that IT is one of the central aspects to making sure any company is successful. You want to make sure that you can communicate with people in terms of that IT setting. You want to make sure that you have a digital space and you have a way to connect with your customers and clients in a way that says, I know what your problem is. I know how to provide digital solutions, and I know how to carve out your space in the digital market space. So, in terms of the aspects of your company, it's very important to know not just if you're up with the latest and greatest in terms of your digital space, but if you know how to fit it in properly and understand what your clients and customers need, and match up to those specifications, because technology for technology's sake is not really useful. You have to kind of fit it into where it's supposed to be.
That's a very good point. I'd like to also ask you a question, and you brought it up, which I think is very, very important. Understanding and trying to see what the problem is of a client so that you can provide them with a solution. Or is there a formula? Is there anything that you follow as a set of steps to help understand that problem so that you can provide them with a good solution? Can you elaborate on that, please?
Well, it really depends on what is needed by the customer and client. There are a lot of formal steps that have been taught. There's a lot of A, B, C, D. You follow those steps and
Sure.
you go through it. And there's things taught in academia, but we all know the real world is not as clean as that. So I would say there's a bunch of different approaches. The main approach we have to keep afloat on is the notion that we have to get an understanding of the minimum viable product and then iterate on top of that. So we want to see, hey, this is what you need from a technical perspective. Let's try to meet your minimum requirements, build as quickly as we can, and then get a new set of specifications and match up to that, and build and build and build. That's sort of how a lot of products have been made, but I can certainly say that's not the only way things are done. Like, if you see yourself in like the government sector, it's like, hey, let's take forever to make our designs and specifications, and then build, and then test, and then we deploy. But
right.
It's not really the same way every single time.
So. Right, it could be much easier. painless,
Yes.
almost.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, one of the things that I remember about setting up our own website, and then the fact that you came with experience of working with other companies, was that, right? Understanding what you already have in your mind to portray your idea, to portray your company before your clients. And I think that you understood that right away.
Yeah.
And that's a very important thing, to be able to read the client's idea and be able to create your masterpiece.
Yeah.
Could you talk more about the importance in terms of how a company should target a given market from a IT perspective? I guess you can talk about digital marketing as well, or website design.
So in terms of targeting a market, I guess that might be more of a marketing question, more so than a technical question. But in a sense, there are technical aspects of it. Obviously, in terms of search engine optimization, social media optimization, the two big terms these days. You have to be afloat of how to get in front of everybody else. So search engine optimization is obviously one avenue. You want to be on top of Google.
The SEO, right? It's
yes.
all about Google these days.
Yeah, it's all about Google. So if you're up on top of Google, obviously you don't want to fall to the second page. Social media optimization, that's been its own monster, and it's something recent. And what you have to be abreast of is the fact that it's kind of like a moving animal, where it's like there's a whole bunch of social media companies coming up. You have Facebook, you have Twitter, but you also have to be aware of how to use those things in conjunction with your customers and clients. For example, you can't just sit there and be a robot and blast every news media feed that comes out there. You have to be able to respond to your clients and respond in a way that says, hey, we're on top of the situation. Because these days, Twitter is the new customer call service center.
Right.
And Facebook is the new public relations center. So it's sort of a moving field. It's nothing where you can really pin yourself on it. And obviously, there's experts all around when it comes to this thing, but truth be told, Facebook is something that was out in 2006.
Yeah.
So an expert is an expert by any other name, as I would say. But in terms of wrapping up what I feel about the marketing strategy, it is a moving target, but you kind of have to feel your way through it, and you kind of have to establish yourself in terms of how you connect with that client base. But it does move to the beat that the company sets.
Right, great. I guess another important factor is that all of this portrayal of an idea comes with cost, right? Work needs to be done, that translates into cost, dollars. Today, everybody, whatever, you can have the entrepreneurs with the great ideas, and at the same time, they have a budget limit. How do you work around these issues in order to, one, build your clientele, and two, maintain a relationship that eventually will translate into more clients?
Well, in terms of maintaining clientele and maintaining the relationships, it's important to communicate. So you have to go out there and stay on top of what the client needs, stay on top of new trends that come out, and how those new trends can better offer solutions to that client. In terms of managing your costs, managing expectations, managing what is needed, it's very important to look at existing tools and existing processes that are out there and make things a bit more fluid.
Right, so you don't have to build things from scratch per se. It's already a platform. You just have to brush it up a little bit.
Yeah, just
create
brush
your
it up
masterpiece.
brush it up, make it something that people can connect with, make it beautiful, make it flashy, all that good stuff, and But it's more than just being flashy. It's about keeping a sort of elegant simplicity to it.
Right.
Just saying, hey, this is what you need. This is who you're going to target. These are the things that can provide your solution, and these are the things that will make it easier for you.
Now, to some people, they can actually learn this on their own, or you can go to school for it. I'm sure that you told me you had gone to school. Things change. Technology moves really fast, so you need to adapt to that and make sure that you're always up to date. To the existing viewers that we have right now, can you tell them how it is that they should train themselves, and if that's not their field, how can they find people like you? How can they find you?
Okay, well, I could say I had a background in software engineering over at Drexel University, and I can say a lot of the things that I was taught initially became quickly obsolete.
So that's something.
Yeah, I had to learn a lot of things, from scratch, and there's always new technologies that come out. So mobile is a big space, so people had to learn how to create for mobile. There's always new things. I think at a core you need a fundamental level of passion when it comes to technology. You need to say, hey, I'm following, like, not just like I know this thing, because what you know will become obsolete. Yeah, that's just how it is. You have to say, hey, I like this. I really want to follow it. You stay on top of blogs. You stay on top of any technology news that comes out there, and you stay up to date with your platform. Like, if you ever used any sort of operating system, you'd notice that it gets updates. Well, programming languages get updates. Everything gets updates, and it always is a constant thing. Now, in terms of whether you can use that sort of knowledge, or whether this is the right field for you, I would say it's not for everyone. A lot of people do get bored by it. A lot of people don't speak the technical.
That's an interesting question. What does it take to be part of this industry? I mean, we come from the consulting and the financial perspective, so things to me are always in different areas. But I understand that yours is this one sector, and this is where you need to be the master of. Does it get boring at times, or how do you keep yourself going?
I mean, I'd say technology in of itself is big. Yeah, there's programmers, there's designers, there's business analysts, there's a whole breadth of fields that come under technology. So usually, if you come across anybody in technology, they'll have a specialty. Not everybody knows every programming language. You need some people that know some people that know others, and you need people that could, manage how these sort of products and solutions come forth. When it comes to what it takes, like what you have in your inside, it's sometimes you have to just ask yourself, do you like going to technology websites? Do you like going to conferences?
Is that what you do? You go to conferences?
That's what you have to do.
You're always on the internet, you're always on the phone?
Always on the internet, on the phone. You try to find solutions for your own life. I mean, that's the thing about technology.
I know. To some people
it's not just like, oh, I'm a nerd sitting in my computer using this. It's about using computers
to make your life easier.
Yeah, to make your life easier. How often do you do that? Yeah. It's like, do you sit there and say, instead of writing an email, let me write an auto response message at a certain time, or like, and it's about how much you like to use technology to.
That's
to,
interesting.
To
Right,
make solutions.
Auto response. So why do you even talk to people anymore?
Yeah, I don't feel like talking to people.
Let my computer tell you what I'm feeling in the next couple of hours.
Yeah.
I find that very, very amazing, because I'm a person that it's always been non-technologically oriented.
Yeah.
But I know that it's very important, especially today.
Yeah.
The fact that we're out there as market experts now and reaching out to people, it's very important. It's very important to understand this technology. It's part of our culture, and I think the trends are there, patterns. We have definitely seen them. In your expert opinion, since you're in the IT sector, are there any trends or patterns that you have noticed in the biggest technological companies? For example, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of them?
There are obvious patterns that we're reaping the benefits of right now. I don't know if benefits is the right word, but obvious patterns of mobile is out there. Everything is becoming mobile, and there's large shifts in terms of web resources and just general targeting of applications towards people in the mobile space. In terms of other trends looking forward,
Like, I want to know what's going to be after Facebook. I mean, have you looked that far ahead, or are you still just trying to cope with what we have today?
Yeah, I mean it's fast moving in terms of I guess even social and mobile are probably the two biggest things. In terms of where we would move with social, I guess we could start seeing decentralization in the platform. So Facebook is big, Twitter is big, but I'd say we'd start seeing a lot of people targeting very fragmented social circles. And in terms of, hey, this is not just one big social network, but this is smaller social networks with very specific purposes, and that's just how things are gonna. That's how we're gonna target things instead of having one big thing. Another emerging technology is another emerging portion of technology. I guess it's its own words, like wearable technology. So, obviously you might start hearing about Google Glasses, and I don't know whether that technology.
I haven't. But I'll look into it now that you're telling me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little ambivalent about wearable technology. I deal with technology enough to not have to wear it all the time.
Sure.
But obviously there's a lot of buzz around it, and in terms of reading the tea leaves of everything else, like, technology goes in a sort of trajectory that's kind of predictable, but kind of not. We're gonna have phones that are more powerful. They're gonna do more things, and the
I can't wait to get a cell phone that you can turn on your car or turn it off.
Things getting interconnected in that sort of way.
I think those are steps, right? Yeah. I mean, you look at smart TVs and I go blind. That's just the hell,
Yeah. So.
But it's a very interesting sector for sure, especially in the United States. Now, I want to ask you a question in regards to outsourcing. Today it seems that everything is about outsourcing. To minimize that cost, especially for people like you that work in the States, how do you see that affecting you? Is it affecting you at all? Or are you still able to create, to build a clientele regardless of those outsourcing methods that are right now taking place?
In terms of outsourcing, there are skills that can be outsourced. There are very simple technical programming challenges that can be outsourced and can be dealt with on a cheaper basis.
Right.
But sometimes it helps for a company to look beyond sort of the upfront cost in terms of what you get when you outsource something. Now, obviously, you deal with different time zones, and you have to deal with that is a problem. So, and you have to deal with language barriers, and you have to deal with just the ability to respond in that rapid fashion. So, as I mentioned earlier before, we're starting to make shifts towards this iterative approach to creating products, where we take a little bit and we build on it and we build on it. We're increasingly seeing that communication is one of the fundamental aspects of creating products and technology. So, in terms of what...
All right, Kashif, there's a very important topic that's always been talked about publicly and privately. this is outsourcing. And outsourcing in technology seems to be big these days. I'd like to understand from your perspective, how has that affected, or if it hasn't, your company, your operations? Is it beneficial to you to have outsourcers, and how does that work in our culture today? Because today's economy needs to get moving, right? To save that $1. How does this work? How do you incorporate this into your operations with relationships with your clients?
Yeah, well, outsourcing is obviously a big issue, and the truth of the matter is it is cheaper to just send some of your problems abroad and just have people from the other side of the world just solve them for you.
Yeah.
So,
solve my problems.
Solve my problems. I mean, but this is where we have to understand what technology is and what it does. Technology is to solve a problem, not to just have people building things for you.
Right.
And in terms of my operations, I personally don't see any sort of effect towards that, and if I did, I really wouldn't cry about outsourcing on my end.
Oh, you need healthy competition, right?
Yeah, that is healthy competition.
Keeps you on your edge.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, like the fire under my toes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
But on a fundamental level, technology for technology's sake is not what we're about. It's about communication, understanding what the client needs, and building solutions for that. And there's obvious overheads that happen that you worry about when it comes to outsourcing, in terms of communication, in terms of time, in terms of logistics, and in terms of managing a team. Because you can't really build things and build products like this in a vacuum. You have to sort of be on top of what's happening, what problems are, the new problems that evolve. You have to be able to disseminate those problems and be able to manage them. And it's kind of tough to do when you're dealing with an outsourced group. There are some things they can provide, and in terms of an overarching solution, I would say there are diminishing returns, and it gets pretty tough. Now, I guess I'm speaking from my own biases.
No, that's okay. I mean, this is exactly what we're trying to do, right? Understand your approach as an expert in the sector, and try to help our viewers understand how these processes work and how everything around it is really impacting.
Yeah. But yeah, the main thing is, it's not just me going out and saying, hey, I'm going to provide you a technical solution. It's me coming out and saying, hey, what's your problem, and where can we fit the technology in to fit it, to best find that solution.
Sounds great, Kashif. I want to ask you one more thing, if it's possible for you to talk to our viewers and just give them a peace of mind of how things will happen, how they can catch you, how they can come to you. What is the advantage and the disadvantage that you feel exists today? Just something nice and brief.
Yeah, advantages in terms of
working with people like you, working with companies like yours.
Advantages to working with me.
People like you, the IT people.
I guess they go on forever. Who knows? So, in terms of the advantages of working with me, what you get is somebody who can communicate with you, somebody who can offer you the solution, somebody who can understand what your specific needs are and how best to address those needs. I can go out there and throw programming languages and processes at you to the end of time until your head goes numb. But the main thing is, what do you need? How do you target your market? How do you get to where you want to get to? How do you find the solutions? How do you solve your problems? And how is it that you end up on the breadth and the cusp of where technology is going, and how you can channel that into either making your digital space, or understanding what you need to build next, or understanding what type of team you need to assemble.
Wow, that's a lot of house.
It's a lot of house.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, Kashif.
No
Kashif
problem.
Gibbs is a strategic partner to the Soriano Group. Highly recommend you listen to him and follow his blog as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you,
Appreciate
Marco. All right.